And I'm live. That is pretty cool. Today is 26th of January 2026. That is 26/1/26, Monday. And let's give a virtual contest. For Division 3, this contest was yesterday. So, yep, today I'll just give a virtual contest for the same. I didn't give this contest yesterday. So, let's see. Shh. Okay, shit, my bad. I cannot give this contest virtually because this has technically not ended yet because right now the hacking round is going on. So I cannot give this contest virtually. Let's look at some other contest. Shit, I also did 2 questions out of this. Okay, we will give some other contest. This one, yeah, we can give this one. This is Division 2. Shit, you cannot give this one virtually. We can like virtually manually do some virtual things like have a counter and measure stuff, but I also want to see my rank, how it would have been. So let's give some other this one, educational round 1086, virtual participation. Yep, this was educational round 186. Let me update the title also for the stream. CF, like this is not very useful. CF186, what does CF186 mean? CFE 186 makes more sense, I think, a little bit. Okay, as an individual participant, yep, and at 2022 in 2 minutes, register for virtual participation, 26th of January. Okay, and in the meantime, just setting up a new game. Let's give a virtual contest on Code Forces Division 3, but plans have changed a little bit. New game, okay, and nope, nothing else needs to be set up. Educational round 186 Division 2. And if I'm able, shit, I think this contest, question number 3, I was trying to do yesterday, but I was not able to do. So, shit, this is not a pure virtual contest because I've seen it's question 3, but that is fine. Okay, one more minute and new game here. Problems here. Cool. Nothing else needs to be set up. Before the contest, yes. 30 seconds. Maybe we can do one monkey type. But we are not going to make it in time. This is a big one. Okay, contest has begun. My bad. I left monkey type in the middle, which is not a very good thing. Okay, we will call a string consisting of characters 0, 2, 5, and or 6. Okay, new year string if at least one of them, uh, if at least one of the two conditions is met. If the string contains 1026 as continuous, or it does not contain the string 2025 as continuous substring. For example, this is not a new string. At least one, okay, not both, at least one. So 2026 is here. 2026 is not here, but 2025 is also not here. So either this is here or none of them are here. 2026, so yes, and this is also new here. We will call a string consist of characters. This is yes, 0, 256, these are the only characters. This is also new here. Okay, and the strings 2025, 2025, 2025, and 2025 are not numeral strings. You are given a string S. You can perform the following operations any number of times, possibly 0. Choose a character in the string S and replace it with 0, 2, 5, 6. You can choose any one of the four characters. Calculate the minimum number of operations needed to make the string at maximum one operation. At maximum one operation, if the string is not correct, no, not at maximum one operation. We have to see how many 2025s are there and change them so that, yeah, here one operation 2025, one operation 2025, 2025. This can be done in one single operation by changing 2025 into 2026. Okay, makes sense. Okay, this one is easy. Not n but check. String as C and S, right? Yes, we also have n. Okay, and taken a string. So what we have to make sure is bool is new. This takes in a string S and it checks if it is new or not. And this is new if either 2026 is there. Okay. To PT6 equals false and for entire equals 0. Wait, we just have to check. Bool 6 equals find S dot begin and S dot end. No, we are checking for substring in string C++. Yes, you only check for substring in a string. Find. Find can take in a string also. That is cool. Look for 2026 and this returns an iterator. Okay. Wait, let me fix my caps lock. Yo, thank you. New C5. C5U. Okay. C4U. Something like that. I just have to change one thing here. Here. Keyboard. Keyboard shortcuts. Mm, modified keys for USB keyboard caps lock should be controlled. And now I can work with the speed. Okay. Auto iterator 6 equal find s dot begin and s dot end and look for 2026 and if this does exist, if it6 is not equal to s dot end, return true, else I mean yes, else uh, auto it equals find, just like this, and just remove 6, put 5 there, and instead of 6 here also say control x 5, and if it5 does exist, is not equal to s dot end, then return false, and at the end return true. Then this thing is a special string. So if is new s, then cout rest equals Here, if not res, then res equals 1 and cout res. This should have worked, but it does not work. S dot begin, S dot end. You can say that this is a reference. N is at maximum 20 characters. Take an N and then take an F. Cout S. CPP run search. Wait, this is not even compiling. It seems like if this is not even compiling because of iterator at which line algo 7. This thing required from here. What is required? This is forbidden between pointer and integer. This is a pointer, I think. So maybe that is not the error. How to check for substrings? How to check for substring? Main string dot find. If this thing is not equal to npos, this thing returns the position of that thing. Okay. If s dot find 2026, if this thing is not equal to string dot npos, then we do have this, otherwise we don't. And then here, if s dot find 2025, if this thing is not equal to string npos, then 2025 exists, but 2026 does not exist, then this. Otherwise, if none of them exist, then true. Wrong answer on, okay, shit, because here the string is also being printed. Okay, that is unexpected. Cool. Correct answer. Submit code. Question number A. This should not have taken this long. 10 minutes. 10 minutes, no. 10 minutes is long for this. Running test case. This will probably work. Yes. We can go to the next question till then. And yep, cool, accepted. Question number B, New Year's cake. Monocarp is going to bake a New Year's cake. The cake must consist of at least one layer, and also the link of the contest is here. Hello, this contest had easy questions, and that previous one, like the language, was less confusing this time. Yeah, mm, yeah. Question number one was very like straightforward compared to the last contest, last division two contest. Hello, good morning. How do you set your sources for code template for CF in November? For that, wait, shit. MRC here. I have this thing. In my init.lua file, I am requiring this file walrus cp boilerplate, and this is the cp file, and in cp I have this boilerplate dot lua file, and this file reads a file where I have written my boilerplate code, and I have made a key map. When I press leader BLP space BLP, I call this function runs. This function uses like Vim API, npm buffer set lines starting from line number one, column number one, and this minus one also means something, and this also false also means something, and write all of these lines. This BLPCP is a string which has the content of the boilerplate as a string, and Vim splits this whole string on new lines. Because this function new Vim buffer set lines, this wants lines as a list or as a table. In Lua, we only have a table, so it wants lines as a table to print there. And CP, if we go here, this is my boilerplate code in a .cpp file. So that that is cool. And if you want to like look at the code, then you can nvmrc here, uh, Lua, go to Walrus, and here, and I have boilerplate codes for a lot of different things, like boilerplate, print boilerplate code for competitive programming in Go, in Rust for lead code, and for CACS problems. Yep, there you go. Yep, it is on GitHub. Well, thanks for the explanation. I recently set up a lead code plugin for problem solving in new Vim. Lead code plugin. I think it is not, wait, specifically for lead code, or it works for everything. I have not used a lead code plugin. Ah, that would be cool. I've only used this one. This one works for CF and other competitive programming sites. That's all till D, bro, but E ruined my whole contest. Yesterday, shit, yesterday's contest, I cannot, like, my plan was to give yesterday's contest, but it is still in the hacking phase, so I cannot give participate virtually. So I'm participating in a different contest. And if you're talking about E here, then that is pretty cool. E in Division 2, specifically for lead code, but it works by adding cookie token. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So that would take your cookie and it would submit on your behalf using some lead code API in the cache setting for lead code plugin. Yep. Yesterday's contest. Yep. I cannot participate right now. I will give it tomorrow, I guess then. Okay, for this, time is passing. Monocarp is going to bake a New Year's cake. The cake must consist of at least one layer. The size of the top layer of the cake must be 1. The size of the top layer must be 1. The size of the layer below it must be 2. And the layer below, okay, powers of 2, and so on. Each layer except for the top one is twice the size of the layer below, above it. Additionally, each layer must be covered with either white or dark chocolate to cover a layer of size K. Monocarp will need K kilograms, size K kilograms of chocolate. Each layer must be covered with exactly one type of chocolate, and these types must alternate. If the layer is covered with dark chocolate, both the layers directly below and above it must be covered with white chocolate, and vice versa. Monocarp has A kilograms of white chocolate and B kilograms of dark chocolate. He wants to calculate the maximum number of layers that the cake can consist of, ensuring he has enough chocolate for both the times. Okay, we will just assume. Wait, what? That is, doesn't that sound a bit easy? Okay, here we will force, we have two numbers A and B, or let's say X and Y, C in X and Y, and we will assume that X is always smaller. So if X is at some point bigger, then we will swap X and Y so that X is always smaller, and we can just literally either we can simulate this thing, or we we can just simulate. Yeah, simulation is fine. So int s equals 0 while x greater than 0, and y greater than 0, int int or long c layer cl is 1. Okay, so x minus equals if x greater than or equal to cl, the weight required for the current layer, then this, and also bool xy equals, so if x if x y, then check if xy, then if x greater than cl greater than or equal to cl, then x minus equals cl else no yes else break here if y greater than equal to cl, y minus equals cl else break, and xy equals not xy, the opposite, and also if we didn't break, then rest was plus. Ah, okay, shit, that is not very good. And also yes, cl left shift by 1. Hmm, that was not expected. 20, here we say 1, even though we should say 2. Greater than or equal to 0. Okay, and the third last, which is this one. Shit, makes sense. Okay, we will have a function int run. This will take in two numbers x comma int y, and this will run this whole operation, and at the end return res. Yep, and here int res equals a maximum of run choosing x comma y or run y comma x. Cool. And now we submit code, paste, and just making sure. Okay, we take in x and y, we don't have to do this. X and y res run. Either if we only have two options, either choose x as the first one and y as the second, or the opposite, and we are finding answer for both the cases, and we can do this, and there would be no bad consequences because cl is always getting multiplied by 2, in this case getting multiplied by 2. Okay, and things seem okay. If xy is true, then update x. If xy is false, then update this. Okay, cool. Submit, and hopefully this is correct. Okay, running on test 2. Yes, probably now this is correct. Yeah, cool. You exactly. Okay, about like it takes your cookie and submits using an API. There have been similar projects or code forces, but not all work, as code forces restricts any bot related actions as API requests are blocking. Okay, so That makes sense. That makes sense. Because in code forces we can write the questionnaire, but we cannot submit from here. For submission, we do have to go to submit code. Okay. Question number C. Cool. And let's also look at the standing. Shit, my standing is 5,000. 5,000 is very bad. Yes, because I'm talking too much. Okay. Question E, to create a rule and how many people have solved these problems? 12,000, 5,000. Okay, now C. To create a truly festive atmosphere, Santa's helpers have opened a factory for producing snowmen. Each snowman consists of three snowballs, a head, torso, and legs. Leg is a snowball. Okay. For the snowman to be stable, the ball forming the legs must be strictly larger than the ball forming the torso. In turn, the ball forming the torso must be strictly larger, not equal to, but larger than the ball forming the head. Formally, if we denote the size of the heads, torso and legs A, B, C, A head and C being the legs respectively, the snowman will be stable if A is smaller than B, which is smaller than C. At the snowman production factory, there are three convoys, each containing n snowballs. The first convoy consists of balls of sizes this, the second one of this, and the third one of this. The convoys are cyclic. In other words, after the element numbered n, the element number 1 follows, and we can consider the ball numbered I and the ball numbered I plus 1 as the same balls. Okay, to produce snowman, it is necessary to specify three parameters: I, J, K, indicating which balls on each convoy production starts from. After that, the snowman will be assembled in the balls from the balls as following. The first snowman will be of size A1, B1, and C2, and okay. The nth will be, yep, okay. The parameters I, J, and K must be chosen in such a way that the maximum number of snowmen are stable. Your task is to count the number of suitable common. Okay, this is a good question. This is a good problem. N, we can go n square if we want to, but no, if we were to do, there are in total n into n into n cube possibilities. Go n we cannot go n cube here. We can go n square, but yes. Okay, so here we can think of this as we have three circles. Let's say we have strips, and this is like the top view, and this is the side view. Strip number one, this has circles, and these circles make the head. And then strip number two, this also has circles, these circles make the torso. And then strip number three, and these are like circular, so this is not linear, these are circular, these are connected like this, strips connected like this. And the main observation I would say here is that we want the relative position of this one and this one such that maximum number of snowballs in this are bigger than the snowball exactly above them, and the same for this strip and this strip. And this we can do by brute force. This we can do by brute force. This we can do by brute force for both of them independently. Okay. All right. Yep. Cool. Additional constraints. Okay. And okay, we can do this by brute force. Vector of integer a side n, b side n, c side n, or in reference x A, C next, B replace with C, and we will have a function called find. It takes in vector vector integer A and another vector of integers B and mx equals 0. None of them are matching. And int I response equals 0. For int I equals 0, I smaller than n, I plus plus. What is n? Good question. N equals a dot size, and this I is the index in the second ball, second array B, with which we are pairing the first element of A. Okay, so for int j equals 0, okay, yes. And here this means that A0 is paired up with BI. Okay, so for int j equals 0, yes, yes. I was worried about maybe I messed up the time complexity part, but no. Okay. Uh, so if and here also we'll have int cmx equals current max equals 0 if aj is strictly smaller than b, I plus j, remainder n, then cmx plus plus. And if we have cmx greater than max, then we will do max equals cmx and I response equals I, return I response. Okay, int bi equals find a comma b, and ci would be p, and c shit, I messed up big time. Shit. We don't just have to maximize them, we have to maximize them at the correct places. Shit, okay. We cannot look at them in isolation. Okay, shit. Let's say, for example, if we have an array A where we have 4 elements, 4, 5, 6, 7, and an array B where we have also 4 elements, and this would be 3, 6, 5, 8, let's say, and then an array C, and then an array C. Yes, C, where we have 4. No, so this can switch, this can like rotate. Right now this one is valid, this pair, and this pair is valid, and wherever, yeah, these two pairs are valid. And let's say for third, if we wanted to maximize the number of valid pairs between B and C, let's say those valid pairs would be at, let's say this is 4, or not 4 but 7, not even 7, let's say 9. This is 9. This one is valid for any number, and this is 7. No, not 7. Let's say this is like 2, and this is 6, and this is 2. No, this is also 9. This is 2, but this is 6. Yes, this is also valid. So in this case, yep, even though uh, our function here, find function, looks for the maximum pairs, and using this orientation with B and C, we get maximum pairs, pair 3 and 9, and 5 and 6. 9 is greater than 3 and 6 is greater than 5, but that is not good. Instead of, because above this 3 we do not have a number that is smaller than this, and above 5 we do not have a number that is smaller than this. So yep, this is not very good. This is not good. This is, yep, not good. Instead of this, if we were to rotate all the elements in C towards right by one number, by one amount, then we will have 2 here, 9 here, 2 here, and 6 here, and this whole thing would be a valid snowman. At least we would be getting one snowman. So yeah, we cannot look at these cases in isolation. By finding the best rotation for A and B, and finding the best rotation in B and C, this does not work. Okay, so we have to think of some other method. We can look for each orientation between two pairs like B, A and B. Okay, and this is in total, in total there are 5,000 orientations of this, of A and B. And if we also add C, because the starting point of A does not matter, we can just choose rotation of A equal to 0. That does not matter. And if we add C, then there are 10 power 6 total orientation, or 2e7 total orientation, because 5 into 5 is 25, 2e5 or 2.5 e7 total orientations. And how much time does it take to find the valid number of snowmen in each? This 5 10 to the power 5, because there, yes, into this, so 10 big O of 10 power 10 n cube. We cannot go n cube. Maybe there might be a faster way of checking. There might be a faster way of checking than going through the list. Is there a way by which we can instantly find out the valid pairs? We can instantly find out the valid pairs. Instantly. We can optimize this a little bit by storing all the valid pairs For all rotations of A and B, or for all combinations of A and B, we can store indices for each A and B pair, indices of all the places where AI is smaller, strictly smaller than BI, and then only check those CI positions, but then only check those CI positions, but that also is not good if all the elements in if in right. Is the song audible? No, the song is not audible. There is some like DJ going on near my house. So, but yeah, it is not audible. Okay, but this is also not very good. Storing all the indices which are valid pairs of A's and B's. Because if all the elements in B are greater than all the elements in A, then no matter where B is oriented at, this will not work. Okay, time complexity, time complexity. In addition, the sum of n across all test cases does not exceed 5,000. Does that help us? No. Small. Okay, AI, BI, and CI values are not also not very big. Okay, is that helpful in some way? We can do this brute force, but no, brute force is slow. In this one, wait, answer how is answer 10? What are we returning? For each test case, output one integer in the number of combinations of parameters JKL for which all snowmen will be stable. All snowmen will be stable. Number of combination for which all snowmen will be stable. That is crazy. Should we can do this? We can okay. I misread the question. We can do this in isolation. Okay, we do not want to maximize the number of snowmen. We want the correct. Okay. Here in B, how many rotations do we have where all the snowmen are stable? We have one, two rotations. And for this, we have only one rotation. So answer would be one. Answer is 4 because there are two rotations for this too. Why is the answer 4 here? Multiply by n minimum of this and this. No, 1, 2, 2 into 1 into 2. Okay, okay, okay. We have to rewrite our function. BI, CI, rest equals 0 for int I equals 0, I smaller than and I plus plus and n equals to dot size. bool, okay, equals true. Okay, and then for j equals 0, j is smaller than j plus plus. If at any case we see that b j plus I remainder n is smaller than or equal to a j, then okay equals false and break, and here if okay then rest plus plus return rest at the end, and answer would be n into bi into ci, c out bi into ci into n. Okay, compiling, this is very taking, okay, we cannot compile our code somehow because of find, I think. Okay, find, instead of find we will say here substitute find with go. Yeah, correct. Okay, shit, that was a bit stupid. If I had read this correctly, I would have solved. And hopefully this is correct. Hopefully. Yes, this probably is correct. Running on test 3. We passed 1 and 2. Okay, this is correct. Shit, I didn't read this problem, this statement output, what we are looking for. I thought we are finding the best combination of I, J, and K, which give us the maximum number of snowmen which are like valid, stable snowmen. Accepted. Cool. What is the standing? 3000. Jiang Li is at 5. Shit. This, nah, this is very bad. This is very bad. Question number C was not that difficult. Could not have taken that long. Yep. And now question number D. Christmas tree decorations. Let's solve this one now. A group of n people. This is division 2. Okay. A group of n people decided to decorate the Christmas tree. They have n plus 1 boxes of decorations numbered from 0 to n. N people decided to decorate the Christmas tree. They have n plus 1 boxes of decorations numbered from 0 to n. Initially, the ith box contains AI decorations. We say that I have not done this before. We say that a permutation P of size n, yes, is fair if it is possible to hang all the decorations on the tree using the following process. Person Pi takes a decoration from box either 0 or from Pi and hangs it on the tree. Person 2, person P2, P2, the okay, person P2 takes a decoration from either box 0 and P2 and hangs it on the tree, and so on after Pn. Person P1 follows, and process repeats until all decorations are on the tree. During this process, there should be there never should be a situation where person I needs to hang a decoration but both boxes are empty. If such a situation cannot be avoided, the permutation is not fair. However, if the people can choose from which box to take a decoration during each step in such a way that this situation does not arise, then the permutation is fair. Your answer is to calculate the total number of fair permutations modulo with this. N is at max 5. N is at max 5. Okay. 50. N is at maximum 50. The second line contains integers. and I plus 1 integers. For this one, they are saying there is only one valid configuration of permutation, and this is box number 0, box number 0, box number 1, box number 0, box number 1. One person can take from this box, which is going to be this person, and this person will do no decorations at all. Okay, so one valid permutation would be for this 1 2 1 1 2. Shit, no, this person will also want to, because this is permutation. Okay, in the first example, the fair permutations are 1 2 3 and 1 3 2. Let's take an example. 1 2 3 p1, person 1 can take from box number 1, which is this, or from box number 0, which is this. So he takes from box number 1 and hangs the decoration from box number 1. Then the second person, this person, can take from box number this or box their own, second person, right? Box number 0 or box number 2, which is this, they take from box number 0. Okay, they are looking at 3. Okay, 3 and takes from box number 3. Okay, takes from box number 0. So this is also now 0, and we have 1 1 0. Then box number, and then person 2 takes from box number 2. The person P1 hangs, then we go back to P1, hangs a decoration from box number 1. Now that if the person P1 takes the decoration from box 0, it takes from box 1. Note that if the person P1 takes the decoration from box 0 during the first step, then person 3 won't be able to perform the next step, since both boxes 0 and 3 will be empty. However, since this situation can be avoided, the permutation is fair. The permutation is fair. Fair. So our main goal is to divide. Our main goal is to divide. Our main goal is to divide. A person can only take things from their own box like this, or from box number 0. Yes, and we also know one more thing, that the difference between we are not looking at box number 0, and the difference between the maximum, the biggest box, the biggest number, and the smallest number cannot be greater than 1. If it is greater than 1, then we will divide the value from this box. Okay, let's look at this example. Here, let's remove box. Shit. We are not looking at this. So we have 1 4 2 1. We do not want the difference of this one and the lowest ones to be not greater than 3. It cannot be greater than 3. So what we will say is difference cannot be greater than 1. So we need to add 2 to this. This is fine as it is. We need to add 1 to this. We need to add 2 to this. So yep, this is gone. This becomes 1 1 and 3 4 3 and 3, right? And now this one can be taken by any one of them, right? Right, by any one of them. Total number of permutations not anyone. This remaining one will not go to the biggest one. Nope. It can go to this one, or this one. Any of these three persons. And this will happen after the first, like, going through the permutation. Then we'll go through the permutation second time, then the third time, right? Then the third time, and then for the fourth time, this must be the first one. Okay, yes. And we will go fourth time, and then we have a choice which permutation to put here. We can do this, this, or this. So this one is the only one which is fixed, and this should be at the first place. So 4, or not 4, but index of these things, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 is fixed at the start. Here we have a choice, here we have a choice, and here we have a choice. Here we have 3 choices, here we have 2 choices, here we have 1 choice. So 3 into 2, 6, but the answer is 12. Answer is 12 here. Wait, shit. Uh, This is not 6. Uh, This is 6, and we took 5. Yeah, so 1 is the only thing that is removed. My laptop's camera. One minute. The phone is now probably charging. Yes, it is. Okay. Um, this is not the answer. 6 is not the answer. 3 into 2 is not the answer. And this is index. This is index. This is not a number which we are multiplying. 3 into 2 is not the answer. Yes. One more thing. Yes. Okay. Shade. Okay. We will always have two kinds of number. Okay. From n we will be able to divide n into two numbers, or three numbers, x, y, and the remaining numbers. X would be the count of the numbers in which we have the maximum number. Here maximum number is 4, and this 4 is only appearing once, so in this case x would be equal to 1, and y would be, this could also be the opposite way. Yes. Yes, but we do need to make a distinction between x and y. Okay, and y would be the count of numbers which, no, okay, before making x and y, we have to look at this first number and the difference between the max. Let's say maximum number mx is something, and all the numbers which are smaller than mx minus 1, we will take a difference for all such numbers, mx minus 1 minus ai, and we will keep a sum of this number, and if this sum is, this is the required sum that we must have at least to have an array of kind mx, an array which consists of only two types of values, either each value is mx or mx minus 1 and nothing else. So okay, so a 0 should be greater than or equal to sum. If a0 is smaller than sum, then there is no way in hell we are getting any fair solutions, which must be the case in question number 2, in problem number 2. Here, maximum is 2. So mx minus 1 would be 1, and this would require addition of 1, and this would require addition of 1. So 2. In total, we need 2. Sum would be 2. But a0 is not 2. A0 is smaller. Therefore, answer here is okay. So yes, after this, then yes, and this remainder, let's say, or let's just write the code and we will look at the code where what things are what in the code. And this is the current question, question number D, problem number D, not question. And we have to take modulus with this. Copy that. Const int m equals and then a vector, and let's extra and then a vector in a size and for int reference x in a taken x for int I, no shit, before that extra and long sum equals 0 for int I equals 0, uh, for int x in a if x, and also maximum int mx equals maximum element in a dot begin and a dot end. Okay, this is not, what does this thing return? Okay, we have the maximum element, and if we have x the current number, if or sum plus equals mx minus if x is smaller than mx, then sum plus equals mx minus 1, and from this subtract x. Now if sum is greater than extra, if sum is, if sum is smaller than or equal to extra, then we do have answer, otherwise answer is 0. Okay, sum greater than equal to extra, sum greater than equal to extra. Now there could be two cases. One case would be this remainder that we get, remainder, which is the difference of extra minus sum. This remainder we will just take its remainder with n. Yes, then there is only one case. We will take its remainder with n. Yes, and our x value then would be count. Okay, yes. Okay, then we will have two values, x and y. Y would be this remainder value, extra minus some remainder with n, that is our y, and our x is count of mx in A. How many times do we have this maximum element in A? That is our count of A. Yep. And now there are shit. There are like crazy things. In total, we have x comma y, x plus y, x numbers are fixed. We already know these x numbers, what they are, and y numbers can change. For y, we have n minus y, n minus x choices, and out of these choices we will choose y numbers. Yep. So answer for this would be n minus x py, no, cy, yes, cy combination. We just need choices, nothing else. Yes, cy. This for how many choices of y there are. This, right? And after we have made choice for each x and y, x comma y, there are in total x plus y places where each of these numbers can go, and for the, yep, and then therefore there are total x plus y factorial ways to arrange this present choice of x and y. Therefore our final answer would be x plus y factorial combination of n minus x y. This is our final answer. Okay, that is cool. So means this, then int x is count and a dot begin and a dot end, look for mx, and y would be extra minus some remainder with m, extra minus some remainder with m. And now we have to calculate these values with the modulus of this. Okay, first we will calculate this factorial. Yep, factorial. Let's use long factorial. This takes in a number x and a number m with which to return the factorial. Now if x equals 1, return 1, else factorial would be, we can just run a loop, and I equals to I is smaller than equal to x, I plus plus long res equals not 0 but 1, and res multiply equal to I, and res remainder with m. See out, return res. So okay, here in factorial of x plus y, xy equals factorial x plus y comma n, and we have to multiply this number with this n minus x, choose y, and answer for this would be n minus y factorial divide. Shit. Okay, now we have to use some maths here. Divided by y factorial into n minus x minus y factorial. And since our factorial function is taking modulus of this number, we will take this number factorial, multiply it by this number's factorial. Let's call this d for denominator, and this n for denominator, then our answer for n divided by d would be n multiplied by inverse, yes, like modulus inverse of d, n into modulus inverse of d. And how do we calculate modulus inverse of a number? I think I have written some pre-written code for this. Mod inverse, literally mod inverse. And yes, this function works. This number takes x, give me the mod inverse of x when the mod is m. Yep. And cp boilerplate snippets dot lua inverse mod. Okay, we can just go to our solution now. Here we have this number and factorial of x and y. This we have this part. Now we have to calculate this part, for which we have to calculate this whole thing. Okay, let's say int numerator is factorial of n minus x with mod m, right? And int denominator is factorial of y with m, multiply that by factorial of n minus x minus y with m, and take their remainder or their modulus with m, and int den denominator inverse would be, we will call the inverse function here. Mod this function inverse, we will call the inverse function here. Inverse, find inverse of den with m as the modulus, and int combination would be numerator into denominator inverse and take their modulus with m, and the final response, we can say response would be equal to combination into factorial of x y modulo with capital M. And let's see, this might just fail. Yeah, this did fail actually. Let's change, substitute into long. Okay, 6 is good. Here we are getting 1. Here we are getting 1 in the first place. Why are we getting 1? We should be getting 2. Let's see. C out x space y space. In the first one, x is 1 and y is 0. Makes sense. X is 1 and y is 0. Shit. Yes. We also have one more variable. We also have to consider one more variable, z, into our mix. Z would be n minus x minus y. And whatever the answer is that we have gotten right now, The correct answer would be the response that we just calculated, multiply that by factorial of z. Shade. That would work. Yep. Res long rem equals factorial of n minus y minus n minus x minus y with mod m res equals res multiply by rem modulus n. That should do something at least. Okay, that does everything actually. Okay, now good. Now it is good. Question number D. X, Y, and Z. Cool. X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. And this hopefully works. And the standing also increases. Running on test 1. Okay, wrong answer on test 2. Wrong answer on test 2. And since this is a contest, in an actual contest, I won't be able to look at the solution or look at where I got the wrong answer. Okay, that must have given a problem. Reduced the ranking. Yep, that did. And how many people have done this question till now? Problem, not question. 2000. Okay, I messed up somewhere. Mex. Shit, I did actually mess up. Okay, shit, that is very sad. If extra minus sum is greater than or equal to great extra minus sum, this is how much extra we have remaining. If this is greater than or and also we yes, and with this also extra sum greater, this value is greater than, just greater than, yes, strictly is this. If this value is greater than n minus x, what is x? Right, ask. If this is true, then we have changed everything else. If this is true, then extra minus sum, this is the extra that is remaining, and extra remainder with not m but n, right? And x, we will say x is 0 and y equals extra. Yes. It works here, for example, if we have just one test case, one test case where extra is, if we had one test case where extra, let's say extra is a big number, let's say 5, and in our vector we have four numbers, 3, 2, 2, 1. So to make this 2, we will add 1 here, so we will have 3, 2, 2, 2, right? And we still have four extras, so we will add 1, 1 and 1. This will become 3, 3, 3, 3. We still have one extra, that is our y value, and this can go to any one of these. And our final answer would be 4 into 3 into 2 should be 24. Our final answer should be 24. Okay. N is 4. Our extra is 5. Then we have 3, 2, 2, 1. Answer should be 24. 24. Okay, let's go. Hopefully this works. Running on test 1. Running on test 1. Okay, yes. This is now running on test 6 and 8. Okay. Probably this is correct. Cool. Okay. That was correct. And the standing has increased. Let's go. Cool. Standing has increased. Share. NA, I cannot see my rating change if I had given the contest. Okay, Christmas tree, we did D. Now, how many people have done that? Let's see if we can do E. Hello, what's up? How is everything going on with you? Here we are doing solving like a virtual contest for Division 2 educational round, and this one seems to be like doable. I rarely have done, like, I don't usually do four problems. I am not able to do four problems in a Division 2, but here, even though this is educational rounds are supposed to be more difficult. Yeah, uh, here we have done four problems here, even though this is educational in Division 2. That is cool. And for this D problem, I guess the main thing was this one. The main thing was to know that here, the accepted one, that there is a thing called inverse, modular inverse, totient, yes, into totient power of x plus first, yes, cool. Okay, and E, question problem E, this might be the last one, I don't know, let's see. 40 minutes for this. Moncarp has n friends and decided to give a New Year's gift to each of them. He has prepared m boxes to piece the gifts in. N friends, okay, n friends and decided to give a New Year's box to each of them. He has also prepared m boxes to place the gifts in. The beauty of the ith box is AI. Each box can contain at most one gift. At most one gift. Monocarp wants to give a gift worth of at least yi coins to the ith friend. Additionally, he knows that the ith friend will be happy if at least one of the following conditions hold. The gift is in a box with a beauty of at least xi. Ai is the beauty of the box, yi is the coins that the gift is worth. And the box should have a beauty of xi, and the gift is worth at least zi, where zi is greater than yi. Monocarp, and this yi is monocarp's willingness to pay for the ith friend, and zi is the friend's expected value for the gift. Your task is to help Monocarp calculate the maximum possible number of friends he can make if he has k coins. Note that Monocarp must purchase a gift for each friend, and the gift may not necessarily come in a box. Okay, the first line of each test case contains n, m, and k. N number of friends, m number of boxes, k. What is k? Shit, what is k? K is the number of coins he has. Okay. Then the second line contains mi integers, I preferences. The beauty of each box is there are m numbers between m. Okay. And the next n lines follows. The ith of them contains three integers xi. The xi is the beauty of the box expected by the friend. Yi is the monocarp's willingness to pay for a friend, and zi is the friend's expectedness for a gift. Additional constraints on the input: yi is smaller than or equal to k, so no friend monocarp is not willing to spend all his money on a single friend, it seems. Their sum is smaller than k. Okay, that is cool. The sum of n overall and okay, sum of yi is not okay. Monocarp is not spending more than he has. There are just a lot of constraints in this problem, which is I think is a good thing. Okay, what do we have? We have n, m, and k. N, m, and k. N number of friends, m number of boxes, k total amount of money, and it would be good to make this long because k can be 10 power 5. And then we have boxes, vector and box size n. For int I equals 0, I is more than m I plus plus, or wait, not n size would be m, and for int reference x, n box c in x, and then for each friend int I equals 0, I is smaller than m I plus plus. We have to take in three values: xi, value of the box expected by the friend, and yi willingness of like monocarp, and zi is how much the friend expects. X, y, and z, c in x, y, x, and let's use three vectors to store these. Vector and x, y, y, z. C in x I, y I, z I. Okay, we have like just taken the input. And now for each test case, print a single integer maximum number of friends monocarp can make happy after using k coins. Let's look at this. Here we just have a single box whose value is 1. For the first friend, expects a gift in a box of value 1. Monocarp has 6 coins. Monocarp will not be able to satisfy this friend's need, so no in like any case. Answer here should be 1. Answer is 2, which is messed up. At least ZI. But how can the gift be worth ZI amount when Z is 7? Monocarp does not have that much money. Okay, total gift. Okay, total gift. No. Okay, how does this work? The first example, Monocarp can make both friends happy as give the first friend a gift of 3 coins and give the second friend a gift worth for 2 coins in a box with 1 beauty. At least one of these conditions must be true. Okay, not both, but at least once. Okay, so this friend becomes happy because of this, and we don't even need this. Like, why do we need why? Yes, why does not make sense. We don't even need why. Why is like how much Monocarp is willing to spend, but that does not change anything we have. Okay, in this we say that Monocarp cannot make anyone happy. Why? Ah, well, we cannot make anyone happy on account of the box because we do not have this expensive boxes, and we cannot give, I think, an empty box to anyone. So we must spend at least 1 coin on each of these, and yeah, this one we can satisfy if we buy a gift by spending all of our money, but we cannot do that because then we would not have anything to give to this person. And they have said, I think we have to give this. Note that Monocarp must purchase a gift for each friend, and the gift may not necessarily come in a box. Yep. Okay, now for this, can this person be satisfied? Either we give it, him, her, a gift using box. We cannot satisfy them. We cannot satisfy any person based on the box. So we have to satisfy them on the basis of the gift given. So 11 we can satisfy 2%. Yeah, we can satisfy these two, or these two based on the amount of money that we have. In the third example, Mooncarp can make 2 friends happy, second and third happy as follows. Give the first a gift for 2 coins and give the second friend a gift for 6 coins and the third friend a gift of 3 coins. So there are 2 kinds of people. Once there are people who we are going to make happy because of the box that they have, and then there are people who cannot be made, for whom we are spending money to make them happy. And this y value does not really matter. Literally, this y value does not matter. Okay, we have 2 kinds of people: based on box and people based on hello. How's everything going on? Shashank Joshi. Shankar Joshi. My bad. We are giving a virtual contest here. Educational round 186. We have done 4 problems. Now on the 5th one. 1000 people have done this. And since y value does not matter, we can, instead of having two vectors, one vector would be cool. We will have one vector of pair of integers. Okay, let's call this n. The count would be n. There are n people. Pair of integer 0, 0. And here for auto reference x comma y, we can use x comma y. That is fine. In a, c in x and y. Okay, we have x and y. We would like to split this thing into two lists. Yes, split this into two lists. No, no, this list is fine. Vector of integers, money, size does not exist. So for a current person, if we have that, wait, shape y, let's say cy, and instead of y here, let's say z. Yep. And when you are using z, we can just call this y, normal y. If we see that the amount of money that is required to make this current person happy is greater than any amount of box that we have, which is, here we are filling the box, int mx equals, go to max element in box dot begin and box dot end. If z is not z, x is greater than mx, mx box, substitute mx with mx box. Then if this is the case, then money dot push back, money dot push back how much money this person requires, which would be z, right, which would be z. And also we will say, we will update x and y values. So x would become x we can int max, so that we will never get to this x, and we can say the same about z. Okay, and sort money dot begin from beginning to end. Money is the list of money required for people whom we can only make happy after giving them money. Yes, like there is no other way to make them happy. To make them happy, we must use money. They only talk money. Yeah. And okay, do we have to make a separate list for them like we have done here? Okay, okay. Anyways, uh, yep. No, I don't. think so we should do this. Yep, we should. Yep, we should not make this distinction. Yep, we should not do this. We should not do this. Yep. Here, y, x and y. Yes, we will fill A completely. Yep. And then we will have a vector and box happy. Here we will store indices of people who we have made happy because of the box that they received, for which we will do a sort a dot begin and dot end. People we can make happy because of the box that they received. Yes, because of the box that they received. And then for int or auto x comma y int a auto it equals lower bound in box. Yep, lower bound in box dot begin and box dot end, which we have. So we have not sorted box. Substitute a substitute a with box globally. Box is also sorted now. Okay. Box dot end look for x. Now, if we can use this, then we will use this. Okay. If it is not equal to bx dot end, if it is not equal to bx dot end. No, we will use two pointers here instead of this what we are doing here. And bx I equals 0, while bx I is smaller than n, and bx I is the value of the box, or the current box, is smaller than the current required value, which is x. We will do bx I plus plus. Now, if we do have a box of this value, if bx I is smaller than n, then box happy, the box that we have made happy, yes, because of this mine dot push the indices of people which are happy because of the box that they received. Now, one of those persons is this person, but what is their index? We don't know their index. Shit. So we have to use a while loop, for loop. I using index because index is required. Auto x comma y equals a I. Cool. And push here in this index I, so that yeah, we will do something to this person later on. No, we don't actually have to use the index. We can just increase shade. Yes, we don't actually have to use the index. We don't have to use the index. Here you can say that this thing is a reference to those actual values, and we don't even require this here. If this is true, then we will say not y but z. We will say z would become equal to n max int max, and you have to return the maximum number of people who have been made happy, and rest equals 0, yes, plus plus, and k minus minus. We will use 1 coin for this person, the minimum number of coins, right? And bx I plus plus. Okay, and after this we will sort a again based on the money, this time based on the money. So we have to give an a lambda function to mm, auto p1 pair 1 and auto p2 return p1 dot second smaller than p2 dot second. Okay, a is now sorted. Yes, a is now sorted, and we no, not this, not this, not this. We also have to do one more thing. We also have to do one more thing, one more. Then minus minus k minus minus would be there no matter what. Okay, bi plus plus and less. Okay, yep. And again for auto reference x comma z in a. Now we are making people happy because of the money that we are giving them. Okay, so if k is great, the amount of money that we have is greater than equal to the amount of money required by this person to be happy, then we will make this person happy by giving them the money, and response would increase. And here see out response. Hopefully this works, and this does not. Okay, this only does not work in case number 1. Case number 1 we are saying 1, but the actual answer is 2. Here we are saying 1, but the answer is 2, because we can make this person oh shit, yes, true, like valid, yes. If we can make a person happy because of the box, yes, shit, if we can make some person happy because of the box that we are giving them, then we would rather make a person happy who are taking a lot of money to be happy otherwise. In which in which case we should sort this r begin in opposite order, and the lambda function auto p1 auto p2 would be written p1 dot second smaller than p2 dot second, and we don't even have to use r here. We can just change this sign. So we are beginning to making people happy from the end, from starting with the people who require maximum amount of money to be happy, and we are only spending $1 on each person who is like so. Correct. This should work. Hopefully. Let's see. Problem number E. There are only 13 minutes remaining. Let's see if we get this one. Okay, running on test 2. Okay, shit. Wrong answer on test 2. What are we doing here? We are taking n, m, and k. N is the total number of people that friends that there are. M is the number of boxes that we have, and k is the total amount of money that we have. And boxes, yep. Then we are declaring an array to store the indexes of boxes, to store the prices or costs of each box that we have. Then A will store 0, right? Yes, Y is never smaller than this. Okay. Yi does not even matter. Why are we keeping? Monica wants to spend at least this much coin on the ith friend. Additionally, he knows that the ith friend will be happy if at least one of the following conditions hold. Because of the box or because of the gift. The person might be happy because of the cost of the price, or they might be happy because of the box in which we have given the price. Okay. And then we have a list of money, which is not doing anything. So we can remove. Okay, then we are filling our vector of boxes. Then my maximum box, which is we don't need. Then we are filling our, this is correct, right? Yep. Then we are filling our A array by taking in the price, the value of the box that this person would like to have, and the value Y, which is the like how much money monocarp is willing to pay, and Z, which is how much share Y is required. Okay, I'm stupid. Y is required because we cannot spend more less than Y amount of money on this current person. Okay, that changes everything. Shit, yes. So which means shit. Okay. Okay, this changes everything. This changes everything. Even how we are going to take input, that is also changed because of this. Boxes, yes, we will be sorting boxes as normal. We have to make a tuple here using p person. P equals a tuple of three integers, and a is going to be p 0, 0, 0, and x, y. Okay, and then sort a. These values are tuples. So if we were to compile this, we will get error. Yes, we don't have to use a tuple. We can use a pair. We can use a pair. 0, 0, where AI dot first would be the box to, like, price of box to make I happy, and AI dot second would be extra money required to make I happy, in which case we say here extra and x comma z, c in x, y and z, and extra would be equal to z minus y. Okay, and then we will make people happy because of the box that we have given them first of all. Yes, first of all, this equals 0. How much time do we have? We have 7 minutes. Maybe we will be able to do this. Which college? AKTU University, UP, Uttar Pradesh. And hello, we have response equals 0, right? And then we will start. Wait, we can. Yeah, okay, okay. A is A is sorted in descending order for the amount of extra money that is required to make ith person happy. Then we will go for auto a reference just to be cool. Extra money in A. Okay, either we use X auto IT equals lower bound in box dot begin, or and box dot end, and we are looking for X. Now if IT is not equal to box dot, and if we do have a box with this value, we also have to change the box. Shit, in which case this would be pretty good if this was a multi-set of integers box, and let's say int b for int I equals 0, I smaller than m, I plus plus c in b, and box dot insert insert b here, right? Right, and here we don't have to use a explicit lower bound function. We can just say b dot lower bound and remove everything. Okay, bx dot lower bound, right? And if this is not equal to the end, then we can say ex equals int max res plus k minus equals, shit, we have no idea what amount of value we should subtract from k, because of which long used equals 0. We will put it here, and use plus equals y here, k minus equals y. K is now representing the extra amount of money that we do have, so we don't have to do this, right? And also dx dot remove it, remove this value from the boxes because we have used this value. Yep, cool. And okay, After this, we will sort a dot and lambda function auto p1 p2 pair 1 pair 2 return p1 dot second should be smaller than p2 dot second. P2 dot second. Okay, and for again we'll go through a x comma extra a. X does not really matter right now. Okay, and if we have k greater than equal to x, k greater than equal to x, then we will do k minus equals x rest plus plus see out the response and error, but a lot of error. Where does this error come from? Operator minus, we are using minus somewhere where we should not be using minus. Here sort bx dot begin and end, we are getting error because of this line. Bx dot begin and bx dot end. Why? Because bx is a multiset now, so we don't have to sort it. Wrong answer. That is fine, we can fix it. Oh, hello, can I crack my MNC? I'm average student. I mean, okay, if there are two things. If an average student can crack an MNC, then also you can. But if being an average student is not enough to crack an MNC, then you can change the fact that you are an average student. You can like study a bit more and become better and then crack. I'm not too intelligent. I have self-belief, but sometimes doubt, which is also very normal. And just move like one step at a time. Do one thing at a time properly, and after some time you will notice that shit, now I think I can do 2 to 3 things properly, which is cool. Yeah, just that, like slowly you can build up, no matter depending on your speed. We are getting wrong answer for this one and for this one, and we can probably do this in 40 seconds. Yes. Here we are saying 1, even though the answer is 0. How can we say 1? Shit, 1 cannot be the answer according to what we have written. Lower bound of x. Yes. What was the risk at this point? How many people became happy because of the box? Yes, only in this case, this person became happy because of the box. Which means here, here, magic happened here. X greater than equal to extra. K. Okay, this is kind of stupid. Not use. Subtract from this y, and now it should be good. Yep, correct answer. We actually might be able, okay, we won't be able to do this. Time up, time up. Let's see if it is correct. Anyways, shit, we missed by like a few seconds. If this is correct, depends. Okay, shit, this is correct. We missed by a few seconds. Shit, we would have done this during, shit. We missed by a few seconds. This is correct, I think. We have submitted this on 22. Yep. Okay. Wrong answer on test 18. On which is probably due to some integer thing. Substitute int by long. Okay, not this int. Shit, we got wrong answer on some hacking problem. Let's see. How about this one? Let's see what the problem is. Output is this. Correct answer is this. Yeah, this is also computer generated. No one sat down and wrote this. And probably the problem is like int, long, precision, stuff like that. Okay, this was a cool contest. Yep, we did. During the contest, we did 4 problems, which is cool. And after the contest, I guess we will be able to do this one too. And our rank, yeah, we weren't able to do this. Our rank in this is 2900, which is decent. It is decent. Also including the fact that like I was talking during the contest, rank would have been a bit better, I guess, if I wasn't talking too much. Okay, and also the fact because I'm streaming, I am forcing myself a bit too much, more than okay. Because I'm streaming, that is why I'm forcing myself to think more and give more time to each question properly. And I guess I wouldn't be able to do this if I was not streaming. Okay, there is some other problem for this, which I will like diagnose at some other point, not right now. Save to list. Review, not review, look into. Save. Cool. And can I not like figure out how much my rating would have changed on test? Rating predictor. Let's see. Virtual wrong. Okay. Rating change calculator. Contest ID. Okay, why is the UI like this? Okay, UI actually is like this. What do we have to say here? Code for forces contest ID not valid. Points not valid points. Okay, contest ID 2182. Points. Okay, how much points were scored on this in this contest? Points. Panel. There are no points in this. There is only penalty. There are no points. So, penalty. 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 Yes, this was penalty based. 158 is the penalty. 150. 158. Old rating. Old rating. Let's write my current rating. 1353. 1353. Right here. 1353. And calculate. Okay, this is not working. This is not working. CF predictor, future rating predictor. Hello Code Forces, is there some browser extension on a website that shows you how much rating you would have gained or lost if the virtual contest you took part in? Okay, we can add this CF predictor. This extension predicts rating changes for code forces. It shows approximate deltas during and after the contest. A huge number of... Okay, this is not what we want. I want to see my rating change in a virtual contest. For this thing, there is another extension that I'm using, CF, and this one, Carrot. Maybe this might work here. Let's see. Refresh, and this might take some time to calculate the rating change and then display them. Let's also look for some websites. CF below, yet another rating calculator. Okay, this website should have worked, but it is not working somehow. Virtual contest code forces rating calculator. Yeah, that is somehow the actual virtual contest change. Why is the UI like this? Either my browser is not rendering this thing or something actually is wrong with this. Safari. Okay, Safari is also doing the same thing. So this is the actual UI of this website. Hello, and just use Carrot Pro. Yes, Carrot is working for during the contests, the yeah, contests, and also after the contests that I have given. But I want to see my changing for like these virtual contests. Carrot is not working for virtual contests. Is there a extension for virtual contests? And hello, Otabik. I've seen you in Discord. Friends rating changes. Friends had some rating change. Oh, this one seems like the only website that would work, but this is not working. CF Pillow. Code for the analyzer. CF below, CF predictor, estimate rating changes by simulating your performance against the actual participants. These tools often require your contest ID and virtual stuff. Virtual rating change code, forces analyzer. Yeah, yeah, this doesn't work. And Carrot is not working for... Wait, maybe there's a something that I have to change in Carrot. Show file, show rank. Yes, show everything. Settings. Carrot not working for participation. Carrot not working for virtual participation. Carrot and other rating predictors often fail during virtual participation on code forces because they rely on real-time API data from the standing page, which behaves differently during unofficial or virtual contests. Here are the main reasons and potential solutions for Carrot not working. Not working solutions and fixes. Check after contest ID. Contest end. Yes, we are checking after contest has ended. Still, we get NaNa. And Jiangli did all of these problems, which is okay. Yes, I would like to look at his solutions. Jiangli is nice, a nice human being, a real human being. Okay, contains s dot contains, not find but contains. That is good. Contains, contains is a function we can use here. Okay, let me use contains here. and n string s, c in s, and if this is like a failed string, which it would be if s dot contains is not a function here, huh? Contains as is a string, and contains should be a function, but it is not. What was the compiler that Jiang Li used for this, the C++ version? Nope, that is not written. Maybe at the end. Nope, contains is not there. Maybe contains is a GCC function, and uh, CPP string contains function. Find is they are also saying fine. Contains came in 2020 GCC 23. Okay, in what 23 and later as a part of string and string view classes, which were introduced in C++ 23 for compatibility with older C versions. Find is used. Main string dot contains, this returns a bool. Okay, and okay, so the LSP clang D. I'm using clang D. Brew date clang D. Brew upgrade clang D. Does clang D work with CPP 2020 CPP 23? I work for CP 23. It does work, okay, but supports a partial and depends on a specific version of clang D you are using. Okay, you know, so okay, we might not get auto suggestion here for the contains function, but contains is a function. So we will stop this. Contains, if the string contains 2025 and not contains 2026, then cout 1, else cout 0. Contains is not a function. Why? Contains is not a function. Plugins. What is the C++ version that I'm using? G++ 15. Yes, here. If we change this to 23, then maybe this works. Run, and wrong answer. 0. Why do we say 1 here? If S has 2025 and does not have 2026, then answer is 1, otherwise it is 2026. Okay, why? What is the problem here? In here we have 2025 twice. So answer should be 1. Why is it 0? Contains 2025 and S does not contains 2026. Then what is the definition for this contains function? Contains function. CPP reference contains this one. Hello. How are you doing, mate? I am doing amazing. How are you doing? Or operator. Bruh. Shit. Wait, or? No, it should be and here. If the string contains 25 and 2025 and does not contain 2026, then we have to change one of the, like, we can change this 5 to 6. That is one operation, and we will have 2026 into our string. Otherwise, always 0. But this does not work. And how are you? Like, yesterday was UFC fight, Sunday. Yep, and it was cool. CPP reference contains, yes. Maybe I don't understand how what this contains function does. For a string, checks whether or not a given require. Okay, what function even is this? Ranges contains. No, no, this is not ranges. This is string. C plus plus 23. String contains reference. Basic string contains. Yes, contains. This takes in a string. This can also take in a string. Checks if the string contains the given substring. The substring may be one of the following: a string view, or we can give in a character, or we can give in a string. And this is equivalent to this. Return find x is not equal to and pause. We are looking for the substring x. If x does exist in the string in which we are looking for x, then find will return the index of the first character where from where x is starting. But if x is not there in s, then we will get npos. Okay, s dot contains 2025. Output this space and s dot contains 2026. 0 1 for this one, second last. We do not have 2026. Why does this say true for 2026? S dot contains 2026. S does not contain 2020. Okay, we also have to take in n. That is a requirement to answer a question. You have to take an input for that question. Yes, that is a valid requirement. Shit, don't you feel demotivated from doing C? Yes, I do feel demotivated. I feel like sometimes I cannot even solve one question in like division 3, and I feel very bad, very sad. I like start to doubt myself and everything, but that is like normal. It happens. And you just have to remember that these are phases. Right now, you might be feeling demotivated and self-conscious, and you might be thinking that everyone else is much better than you at everything that you could ever do. But that is also just a phase. Sometimes you will feel like you are at the top of the world and you can do literally anything. No one can stop you. So yeah, these are phases. They come and go. You are the only thing which is remaining constant in these phase changes. So just stay there. And yeah, it is, don't feel bad for taking a break or stopping at some point for some time. Now looking at Giangli's friends standing. Giangli's second solution. Okay, what is this guy doing here? Yes, exactly what we did. We are taking A as the smaller number and B as the bigger number. But the question is, what was the problem? Okay, the layer one, yes, the cake's layers. X equals 0, y equals 1. Okay, that I think also is a valid way. What is he doing? Answer equals 0, while both of x is smaller than equal to smaller than equal to a, and y is smaller than equal to b, the second number, bigger number, right? And multiply them by 2. X becomes 0, y becomes 2, right? Y becomes 2, and then okay, yes, looking at which one is being increased. Increase x, x becomes 1, y would become 3. Y would become 3, right? And then on the next iteration, y would become 6. Okay, shit, he is getting the total amount. Okay, 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 that is cool, that is cool. X represents all the total amount of chocolate uh, used for a layer, for half of the layers, and y represents the total amount of chocolates used for the second half of layers. Okay, and while the amount of chocolate used is always smaller than or equal to the amount of chocolate that we do have, then we will keep incrementing the answer, and yeah, that is cool. uh, Problem number C, let's look at that. Anybody who dev here? No, dev. There is a guy on CF who gave all contests in virtual mode and went from master to IGM in 1 year. All contests, from master to international grandmaster. Hello, guten morgen. Yes, exactly morning, right on time. Or maybe you are in some other place in the world. That is cool and that is like inspiring, but we also have to know that maybe I might not be able to do this, and clearly I will not be able to do this. And going from IDM to master, but maybe I might be able to do this if I solely focus on doing code forces completely. Like, yeah, yes, new config. Varanasi, but Varanasi is in the east, where the morning happens before where I live. You are on my east. What do you mean? It is 3 a.m. Shit, maybe I might be tripping. Yeah, probably I am tripping. My bad. Like daily, he gave one contest. GitHub repo, new link. Yes, this one. HTTPS colon slash slash uh, github.com/ my name and vim rc. I think that is the correct link, hopefully. If I click on this, yes, that is the correct link. Here, new. He is taking inspiration, I guess, but his inspiration is not good. But I guess he is taking inspiration, even though it is not good. But yeah, inspiring. A, B, and okay. What did he do in problem C? Production of snowmen. Yep, taken A, B, and C. Yes, rest 0, 2 loops. Yep, again. Okay, he did this. He wrote a loop twice but after adding them. Okay, this is by the way pretty cool. Okay, do you see this nice thing that he has done here? I tried in installing Mason and stuff, but there is error. Okay, I would say do not use Mason. You can use Mason at the start. I do not use Mason for LSP. I manually download my LSPs. Yeah, uh, I only use Lazy for plugins and not for the whole config. From repo side, teach me some new M2. Okay, I only use Lazy for plugin downloadation. There is a very wait shit. You would have seen my recommendation. Wait, where is the YouTube thing? Unhook. Hide on it. Viro, Newim. Just watch this thing. This playlist. Shit, where is the playlist? This is the playlist. Part 12 parts. This is very good. I made mine on top of his. Lol, shit. Then you are on top of me. That is very creepy. Lazy loading. What are keybinds? He has multiple videos and he explains what are tree sitters in 17 minutes. Yeah, comprehensive explanation for simple things. What is team option? Yeah, what is the opt thing in Newvim and plugins, color schemes, and Mason for Mason and LSP and then Mason. Yes, in this video he explains how to add a LSP of your own manually, and then on the next one he uses Mason to add LSPs. But yeah, you can watch this. This is pretty cool. I followed typecraft playlist of new config done successfully till second video. Okay, but then getting issues from third video. Maybe you can use ChatGPT for asking what is wrong here. Or shit, bro is just learning. Let him learn. Don't bully him. Updated, and I'm yes, Mason did update. Viro was also saying the same thing. In one of his latest videos, I think in completion engine, he goes into, or maybe in this one, lazy dev, he says Mason has updated and there are changes. And you can go to GitHub for Mason and look at the changes. How do we look at the changes? Releases, I think, bug fixes, features, added support for removal of packages, bug fixes, no. Features, compiler, make support platform a universal thing. When was the thing? Bug fixes. Feature. I think this was the one. Maybe this was the release. 25. Yeah, I guess maybe this was the release which broke, which changed stuff in Neo and Mason too much. And custom registers. Breaking changes. Yes, breaking changes. Package install success. Update. Breaking changes. Get install path. I think this. Yes. I think this is the change that you are referring to. Breaking changes. Check out your Discord DM after stream. Send something cool. Okay, here you were saying you were on top of me, and now you are saying you have sent me some things in my personal Discord, something that is cool. Okay. In the repo itself, it is telling warning that you will get an error. Yes, here, right? This thing has been removed. Okay, in the repo itself, if anything breaks, use it from new vim to vim. It's simple shit, or maybe then use Emacs or use uh, Notepad for pro people. Yeah, so they have listed here what the thing has changed and what should be. This method has been removed to prepare for future changes. And if you are using this method to access an executable, please consider simply using the canonical name of the executable, as Mason adds these to your path by default. So yeah, he's telling if this is your break, if this is the place which is breaking, then you can change it. Okay, on to, yes, this is cool. This is cool. He wrote this block of code and added these curly braces around that. What this does is he has answer here, but all of these variables, this res variable which he has declared here, is different from this res variable. This res variable ends at this point and at the end of this block. So he can, what he can do because of this is take all this, paste this here, and change. Here he has B and C, and here he must have A and B. Yep. Here he has A and B, and he just changed two things here and copy pasted the code, which is not dry. Do not repeat yourself. But this is faster than writing a separate function that we did. I think this is actually pretty smart because in our code we wrote a separate function for this. In this we wrote a separate function, and to write a function you have to declare all of these types for these variables, declare all of these, and then return, and yeah, and then call the function. It is very clean at this here that you get a function which takes an A and B, but you have to go through the hustle of writing this thing as a function. And also we had to do this extra part, declaring n. So what we can do instead of writing this as a function, we can do this, and we can do this, and let's say int res equals 1, and declare a scope, paste all of this, and instead of return res multiply by equal to, okay, yes, and this is answer, not res, and here this is answer. Copy this block of code, paste this here, and just change this to C and this to B, and here say res, not res but answer, answer which is initially equal to n. Okay, cool. This is better. This is better than writing function. This is better than writing a separate function for this whole thing. Use nano. Oh, we can use nano. It is still blows my mind that we get nano devs in 20. Wait, there are people who use nano as their primary editor. That is crazy. Yep. It is simple, but the fact that you can use this like this is crazy. semicolons. This is cool. This is cool. This is cool. This is cool. So just looking at his code, his Jiang Li's code, we have learned two things. One was here that this function, that there is a function called contains, which came out in C++23, and that there is this function or this method. If I want to call a function with like just 2 or 3 times, I can uh, write this thing as a scope inside a separate scope and uh, copy paste it. Cool. I didn't mean it that way. Ah, shit, it is educational work. Okay, okay. I will like look at it after this. O of n square versus O of n3. O of n square would be cool. Copy pasting does not look fast, but it isn't optimal when. Yes, that is the point. That is the point. This is not for scaling. This is to just get it done right now. I want to write the solution right now in the next few seconds. So yes, this is code forces. So we don't have to think about scaling here. And now let's look at his fourth solution. Okay, wait here. Yep. This is also similar to what we did in our fourth problem. In fourth problem, we had to find inverse, modular inverse of a number, for which if you go to my new Vim configuration, okay, bro is simping. Hello, that's why. How is everything going on? How clean does he write zero miss? How clean does he write zero miss? Ah, cleanliness is not the thing to consider here. Okay, if you ever want to find out the modulus inverse for some number, what you can do is if you are using my configuration, if you are using my new config, shit, I messed up, I messed up. Yes. If you are using my new config, what you can do is go to an empty line and press space mod, and you will have a function called inverse, which calculates mod inverse for a number x. You give it the number x whose mod inverse you want to calculate and the number m with which you want to calculate the mod. This takes in GCD of x and m, and the answer, if GCD is not equal to 1, GCD must be equal to 1 for x and m, otherwise we cannot have a mod inverse. And totient is 1. Totient for a given number is the number of cofactors it has, number of cofactors it has, yeah, number of cofactors it has. With cofactors or co-prime factors? Co-prime, cofactors. Totient, totient, with totient number. What was totient? Totient. Euler's totient function definition. This totient is the name of the function. Yes, number of prime factors for a number. Wait, no. It is not 6 for 9. For 6 it is 2. For 2 it is 1. Highly root numbers K definition counts numbers from 1 to n that have a greatest GCD of with this number equal to 1. Okay, yes. Number for a given number, if we are calculating the totient, then the totient is the number of numbers which are smaller than our given number n, which have a GCD of 1 with n. For example, for 4, 3 would be counted as a co-prime. I think these are called co-prime factors. coprime numbers. Yep. 3 and 8 are coprime, 5 and 7 are coprime. Yes, so totient is just the count of coprime numbers where one of the numbers in the prime in the coprime pair is n and the other number is smaller than n. 0 to 1, 0 to n. Hello, Jiang Li. I mean, I don't know how he does his development, but I don't know how he looks like in real life. Friends changes. Yep, Jiang Li, that is how he looks like, and he has done quite a few things. Look at this, 7,000 problems. He has solved quite a few things. Yes, I can trust him. Okay, yeah, totient, coprime, totient, totient, and yes, this thing uses Euler's totient function for calculating inverse, and yeah, yeah, we did some things for calculating the answer here, and Jiang Li also did some things. Like he did quite a few things, it seems. His boilerplate is long. Accumulate, take the sum. Yes, we could use accumulate. I added them while I was going through the loop. Comp dot fac. Comp is comp is a class. You must, yes, comp is a structure. Factorial inverse. Yes, that is cool. Okay, we are learning new things. So if we want to find out some mathematical thing like combination or something, we can write its code beforehand instead of finding it like manually here. Okay, and he has defined a class. One class called or structure called combination, which we can use for finding inverse factorial. One function for finding factorial. Wait, no. This is a vector of factors. These are of type Z, mod int. Okay, he has his own way of defining his class. Okay, I guess someday I will do a stream where I will write this extra class so that when we are in a contest and we need to find factorials and combination, permutation and things, we can just copy paste this class into our code, for which in NewVim we can just make a key bind, and yep, then just use those functions from those classes and we are happy. Spitting a 99% true fact. Oh shit. 99% of config copiers just use NewVim just because they want to flex that I, yes, not because of their daily dev needs. NewVim is cool. Yeah, you can flex on your friends. Yes, that is how he looks like. Don't pretend like you understand all these. No, I do not understand all this. This is crazy. I do understand this thing. He has a const expression. Shit, this is cool. Mm. For this class, he is saying, no, he is overwriting minus minus. Okay, I do not understand this. Okay, he is doing this inside the class. Okay, so he is saying when for this structure, when he has one instance, one object of this structure, and if he is doing, let's say, object number 1 minus object number 2, then run this function. This will return an object of the same type where he is initializing this, he is doing some calculation and then returning this. But the fact that he has const here, const in a class function definition means that whatever the classes are that you are using with this operator, whatever the input classes are that you have given for this operator, this function is not going to modify those classes. It is just going to read them. This function is not going to modify the input classes that you have given. And this const expression here says that if this function is ever being calculated or ever being used, use it at compile time. Like find the answer for find the output for this thing at compile time. Do not waste runtime time. And yep, if you want your function to run at the compile time, then you want that the things that have been given are not being changed. That is why you must use const. If you were to remove this const, you will get error. So I understand a little bit. Let's see one. Okay, it will say the same thing. It will say the same thing. Probably T and T mod in dynamic mod int. It was minus that you were looking at. Chat T. Let's say this is a function. Let's say that I have inside a class I have defined, and just confirming that const x square at the start is, so that start is telling the compiler to calculate the result at compile time. And if we are using const x expert is hp xpr const expression, then we must use the const that we have after the parenthesis, which tells the compiler that the input objects given to this operator are only being read and are not changing in the function. Let's see. Short answer, you are half right, mixing two things. Okay, my bad. Okay, let's see what this actually means. Does not mean this will be calculated at compile time. Okay, this means this function can be evaluated at compile time if it is used in constant expression context and all requirements. This can be used, not that this will be used. Okay, there is a difference, I guess, between can and what will happen. This function can be evaluated at compile time, not must be evaluated. Okay, not too far off. Same thing. When will it actually be run at compile time? Only if all these are true. First of all, the call happens. Okay, yes. I mean, yes, ChatGPT is telling the true thing. If this will be calculated at compile time, if first of all, this function has to be a constant expression, and second, all the inputs which have been given to the function are also constant. If they are not constant, then this will not be calculated at compile time. Object this is constant expression. Everything inside this function is allowed in constant evaluation. Yep, yep. Otherwise, the same function will run at the runtime perfectly. Okay, and const completely shit. Okay, I messed up const too much. This has nothing to do with constant expression. Okay, yeah, because my definition of constant expression was a little off. My definition for const was totally off. This member function does not modify the object it is called on. Yes, same thing. It does not modify the object that it is called on. This member function does not modify the object that it is called on formally. This is treated as a constant pointer. You will not modify the object on which this is called. Okay, I messed up a little bit. Yep. Bye. Dude, should you have a dude? It is Jianglis. I messed up with the a little bit. My definition for constant expression was a little off, and const. This const is not too much off, far off. Okay, I thought that const here, if we have const before our function definition like this const will not modify all of the things that have been given in the parameter. But that is not true. This means that the ob object on which this member function is called, that object will not change. Not that the parameters can change, but the object will not change. Okay. Yep. Cool. And yep, cool. So we did a whole contest today. That was cool. We did 4 problems in that and looked at Jiang Li's solution and found out a new things. Bro, how do I start dev? Like I have been doing CP till now and don't know what I should do. My interest is not toward web dev. I would like to go towards low level dev like stuff. Okay, you can begin with boot dev, but boot dev only works for backend development. For backend development, boot dev only works for backend, and if you want to get good at backend, I would suggest boot dev is cool. This works from the very basics. It teaches you what is Linux, what is Git and everything. Yeah, for a total beginner. And for front end, you can just start with React. And you can just start with React, watch a few videos about React. For React, you can watch most React, this guy's video, React tutorial for beginners, and also learn React. Go to learn React, and here there is a tutorial in React. Like it says, it not quick started. Setup. Go to setup first. Set up your React, and then when you have React setup, use this. Go through this thing, and you will at the end of this tutorial have wait no after cook here in tic-tac-toe. At the end of this, you will have your own tic-tac-toe like this. I think I made my tic-tac-toe on a stream, so yeah, you can go through this. This is cool. Low level dev. Wait, low level dev. Okay, for low level dev, I mean, since you are doing CPP, CP in C++, it is not going to be too difficult for you. And I have not written any low level development projects. I think I can consider the Redis project a low level development project, maybe. But yeah, you already have the groundwork ready. You know C++. That is good enough. Then you can go to GitHub. And it was Code Crafters Build Your Own Notes. Here you can check this out. Search for C++, and you can make your own 3D renderer if you want to, or you can build your own database from scratch in Redis. It is a low level development project. You can write your own emulator, your virtual machine, Game Boy, something like this. Break out some of your own game, handmade hero. Yep, you can check out some of the projects here. That would be cool. You already know C++ well enough, and then make projects. And yep, so for today, that would be it. We did four problems in a contest and we read Jiang Li's submissions and we learned a few things. And that is it for today. Thank you for being here. Bye.